What if the difference between the person you are today and the person you have always dreamed of becoming is not years away, not decades away, but is actually hiding inside the next 24 hours? What if the most successful, most fulfilled, most genuinely wealthy people on this planet are not doing 1,000 different things that you are not doing, but are actually doing 10 specific things every single day with a level of intention and consistency that most people never commit to? What if I told you that greatness is not a lightning bolt moment? It is a daily decision made quietly, made uncomfortably, made even on the days when everything inside you wants to stay exactly where you are. What if the life you are aching for is not locked behind a door you have not found yet, but is locked behind 10 daily practices you keep postponing until tomorrow, until Monday, until you feel ready, until the timing is right? Here is the truth that is going to shake something loose inside you today. Tomorrow never comes for the person who is not willing to start today. Stay with me, because these 10 things are about to completely rewrite what you believe is possible for your life, starting right now. What if you woke up tomorrow and made one single decision that changed the entire architecture of your life? Not because you found a secret formula, not because luck finally showed up at your door, but because you decided that today, unlike every day before it, you were going to show up for yourself with the same energy you have been giving to everything and everyone else. What if that decision was available to you right now? Because I need you to understand something before we go any further, and I need you to really hear this, not just process it intellectually, but let it settle into the place where your real beliefs live. The life you want is not waiting for a dramatic cinematic turning point. It is not waiting for a single moment of inspiration to strike. It is being built or dismantled in the small, daily, seemingly insignificant choices you make from the moment you open your eyes in the morning to the moment you close them at night, every single day. And the people who understand this, the people who have genuinely internalized this truth, they live differently, they move through the world differently, they make decisions differently, they handle failure differently, they experience joy differently, not because they were handed advantages you were not, but because they committed to a set of daily practices that most people dismiss as too simple, too slow, or too uncomfortable to maintain. So today, I want to walk with you through 10 things, 10 specific non-negotiable things that you must work on every single day if you are serious about becoming the person your potential has always been calling you to be. The first thing you must work on every single day is your courage, and I want to be very precise about what I mean, because courage has been so romanticized, so dramatized, so turned into a Hollywood concept that most people do not recognize it when it is standing right in front of them in ordinary clothes. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is not the dramatic moment of heroism. Courage is the quiet, daily decision to speak when silence would be safer, to try when failure is genuinely possible, to be seen when hiding would be so much more comfortable. Every day, your courage is either growing or shrinking. There is no neutral position. Every time you choose comfort over growth, you make the next brave choice a little bit harder. Every time you choose the brave thing, even the small brave thing, you make the next one a little bit more accessible. Work on your courage daily, not by doing something dramatic, but by doing something honest. Say the thing you have been swallowing. Make the call you have been avoiding. Start the thing you keep saying you will start when you are ready. Readiness is not coming. Courage is the only thing that ever was. The second thing you must work on every single day is your relationship with shame. And I know that is uncomfortable, and I know most people want to skip this part, but skipping this part is exactly why so many people stay stuck in lives that feel smaller than what they know they are capable of. Shame is the most powerful, most destructive, most universally experienced emotion that nobody wants to talk about, and that silence is its greatest weapon. Shame grows in secrecy. It grows in silence. It grows in the space between who you are and who you are pretending to be. Every single day, you must work on naming it, not dramatizing it, not wallowing in it, but naming it with precision, because the moment you can say, I am feeling shame right now because I believe I am not enough, you have already begun to dismantle its power over you. The people who achieve extraordinary things are not people who never feel shame. They are people who have developed the daily practice of refusing to let shame make their decisions. The third thing you must work on every single day is your boundaries. And this is where I want to say something that is going to sound counterintuitive, but is absolutely research-backed true. The most generous, the most loving, the most genuinely present people in the world are also the people with the clearest, most consistently enforced boundaries, because a boundary is not a wall. A boundary is not a rejection. A boundary is a declaration of what you value, and when you live without boundaries, you are not being generous. You are being resentful. You are slowly, quietly, daily draining the very energy and creativity and passion that your purpose requires. Every day you must ask yourself, where am I saying yes when my entire soul is screaming no? Where am I tolerating something that is costing me more than I can afford to pay? Where am I shrinking myself to make someone else more comfortable? Working on your boundaries every day is not selfish. It is the most profound act of self-preservation and service you can commit to. The fourth thing you must work on every single day is gratitude, but not the surface level. Social media caption version of gratitude that has been so diluted it has lost all of its transformative power. I am talking about the kind of gratitude that requires you to slow down long enough to actually feel it. Because here is what the research shows, and this is genuinely shocking when you sit with it. The brain cannot simultaneously hold a feeling of deep embodied gratitude and a feeling of fear. They cannot coexist at the same neurological level, which means that every moment you spend in genuine gratitude is a moment you are literally rewiring your brain away from scarcity thinking and toward abundance thinking, away from there is not enough and toward there is more than I currently have the capacity to see. That shift, that daily intentional practice shift, changes what you notice. It changes what you pursue. It changes what you believe is possible for you. Work on gratitude every day, not as a performance, but as a practice that alters the fundamental lens through which you experience your life. The fifth thing you must work on every single day is your authenticity. And this one is both simpler and harder than anything else on this list, because authenticity is not something you achieve once and then maintain effortlessly. Authenticity is a daily battle against the voice that says, be more like them, against the pressure that says, tone yourself down, against the fear that says, if they really knew you, they would not choose you. Every single day, you are choosing between the version of yourself that is performing for approval and the version of yourself that is genuinely, vulnerably, unapologetically alive. And I want to tell you something about the cost of that performance, because most people do not calculate it accurately. The cost of constantly editing yourself, constantly monitoring how you are being received, constantly shaping your words and your presence and your choices around what you think other people want to see, that cost is enormous. It is exhausting at a level that goes deeper than physical tiredness. It exhausts your soul, and a soul-exhausted person cannot build anything of lasting significance. Work on your authenticity every day by asking one simple, terrifying question: am I showing up as who I am or as who I think I need to be? The sixth thing you must work on every single day is your capacity to sit with discomfort, because here is the truth that separates the people who transform from the people who merely cope. We live in a world that has made numbing easier than ever before in human history. Every uncomfortable feeling now has an instant antidote, a screen to scroll, a substance to consume, a distraction to disappear into. And the problem is not that we numb the dark feeling. The devastating problem, the one that costs people their dreams, their relationships, and their sense of aliveness, is that you cannot selectively numb emotion. When you numb the discomfort, you also numb the joy. When you numb the grief, you also numb the wonder. When you numb the anxiety, you also numb the excitement that lives in the same body and the same nervous system at the same frequency. Every day you must practice sitting with what is uncomfortable, not because suffering is noble, but because on the other side of discomfort is every single thing you have ever wanted. The breakthrough is always on the other side of the moment you wanted to quit. The seventh thing you must work on every single day is meaningful connection. And I want to be very clear that I am not talking about networking. I'm not talking about accumulating contacts or building a following or maintaining a professional presence. I'm talking about the kind of connection that requires you to be seen, really seen, by another human being, and to actually see them in return. Because loneliness is not just an emotional experience. Loneliness is one of the most significant predictors of poor health, poor decision-making, and diminished performance that researchers have ever identified. And yet we have built a culture that celebrates independence so aggressively that asking for help feels like failure, that admitting struggle feels like weakness, that needing other people feels like a character flaw. Every day you must invest in at least one moment of genuine connection, not transactional, not performed, but real, because everything you are trying to build requires other people. Every dream that has ever been realized has been realized in relationship. Do not let the myth of the lone genius cost you the connections that could change your entire trajectory. The eighth thing you must work on every single day is your self-compassion. And I want to say this directly to everyone who has been raised to believe that being hard on yourself is the same thing as having high standards. It is not. It has never been. Self-criticism and high standards are not the same thing, and confusing them is one of the most expensive mistakes a human being can make. Research on high performers consistently shows that the most resilient, the most innovative, the most sustainably successful people are not the ones who beat themselves up the hardest when they fail. They are the ones who can look at failure with the same compassionate honesty they would offer a person they deeply love, extract the lesson, and move forward without the crushing weight of self-condemnation slowing them down. Every day, you must practice talking to yourself like someone worth talking to. Because the way you speak to yourself in the privacy of your own mind is the single most influential conversation happening in your life. The ninth thing you must work on every single day is your willingness to be a beginner. Because one of the most insidious forms of self-sabotage is the refusal to learn something new. Because learning requires you to be incompetent first, and incompetence feels vulnerable. Incompetence feels embarrassing. Incompetence feels like evidence of the very inadequacy you spend your life trying to hide. But here is what every person who has ever mastered anything knows at their core. Mastery begins in the humiliation of not knowing. Every expert was once a disaster. Every confident voice was once a trembling whisper. Every person whose work you admire spent time producing work that was genuinely terrible. And they did it anyway, because they valued growth more than they valued looking like they already had it together. Every day, choose to learn something. Every day, choose to be a beginner somewhere. Every day, let yourself not know, and let that be okay, because your willingness to be a student is the direct measure of how far you can go. The 10th thing, the one that ties everything else together, the one that makes all 9 of the others sustainable, is this. Every single day, you must work on believing that you are enough. Not that you will be enough when you achieve more, earn more, weigh less, know more, or finally arrive at some imagined version of yourself that feels acceptable enough. Right now, in this moment. With everything you carry, the scars and the gifts, the failures and the victories, the parts you are proud of and the parts you are still working on. You must work on this every day because the world will work against it every day. Advertising tells you that you are lacking something. Social comparison tells you that you are behind. Perfectionism tells you that you are not finished enough to be worthy yet. And against all of that noise, every single day, you must choose to plant your feet and say, I am enough. And I am also always growing, and those two things are not in conflict. That is the most revolutionary thought a human being can think. And it must be chosen daily, because this is the thing about these 10 practices. None of them are things you complete. None of them are boxes you check and then move on from. They are ongoing, daily, lifelong commitments to your own becoming. And your becoming is not a destination. It is the whole point. The person you are in the process of becoming, that person is the gift you give to every room you enter, every relationship you build, every dream you pursue, and every life you touch along the way. What if the most important meeting of your day is the one you have with yourself, with your courage, your authenticity, your shame, your gratitude, your boundaries, your discomfort, your connections, your compassion, your willingness to learn, and your fundamental belief in your own worth? What if that meeting has been the missing agenda item all along? Every single word in this speech has been pointing toward one central, unshakable truth, that the most significant transformation available to you is not happening out there in the world. It is happening in here in the daily decisions you make about who you are choosing to become. These 10 things, courage, shame, resilience, boundaries, gratitude, authenticity, the capacity to sit with discomfort, meaningful connection, self-compassion, beginner's mind, and the daily practice of believing you are enough, they are not 10 separate items on a checklist. They are 10 interconnected threads of the same extraordinary life. Pull on any one of them and the others begin to move. Neglect any one of them and the fabric begins to weaken. The invitation is not to be perfect at all 10 tomorrow. The invitation is to begin imperfectly, bravely, wholeheartedly with one, just one. Because the life you are capable of living is not a fantasy, it is a daily practice. And it starts the moment you decide it does.